Welcome back to another episode of Elements of the Unknown. I am Jason McGray.
I am Justin Hume.
We're back.
We're back.
We had a break. We're back.
1 day break.
We had a Kit Kat break.
Had a Kit. What?
I want a Kit Kat now.
I didn't have a Kit Kat.
Oh my god, I want a Kit Kat.
So that's what this episode is all about, folks. Is Kit Kats,
Snacks.
snacks.
There's a little meme going around. A little girl going snacks.
Snacks.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about snacks.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna roll on to our topic.
Let's go with, you know what I want to start with? I think my memory is getting horrible, by the way. My memory as I get older is getting horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I need to start carrying around. It's almost like I need a phone with a notepad on it so I can write shit down. Oh wait.
Hey, guess what?
Oh what? You know what?
Technology.
It was like, I need a notepad to write stuff down, like pen and paper. I'm like, wait a minute, I have a phone.
Phones do that.
Yeah.
It's an app called Notepad.
Yep, 100%. I do want to talk about dreams and stuff like that.
Okay.
You mentioned it before.
Right.
I can't remember where we talked about it, if it was on the air or whatever.
Okay.
But we were gonna get into. You wanted to get into some dream stuff and maybe some astral projection and different things like that.
Like, not yet.
But not yet. Okay. Do we want to talk about the dream messages?
No, I want to talk about your trip, bro.
Okay. Well, if you came here looking for dream information,
Keep dreaming.
Let me tell you, it's not happening now.
Right
Not
now.
happening now. What trip do you want to know about?
So, okay. So, in the live, our last live that you did, you started getting old giddy pants about coming over the hill.
Okay.
Of the rolling hills.
All right, so let me tell you a story. Gather around, folks. I'll tell you
around.
a story.
Hold on. Some people don't know what rolling hills are.
And I'll get to it.
Okay.
Let me tell you a long-winded story that won't keep your attention.
Okay.
So, yep. Home, partner. She did not have a passport.
Okay.
Bugged her for a long time. She got a passport, and we're like, let's celebrate and go and get pizza in New York, like on Grand Island in New York.
Yeah.
Because a friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, Tucker, he introduced me to this place called Say Cheese. Really good pizza. And if you like anything to do with superheroes or comics, the whole place is decked out in comic books and superheroes. And I'll show you pictures later.
Okay.
So I'm like, but the pizza is great. So let's go down and have pizza to celebrate, kind of like a day trip. And she's like, yeah, cool. We'll go down. Maybe we'll stop at like a Walmart or a Walgreens or whatever and do a little bit of, the snack shopping, right?
Okay.
The stuff that you can bring across without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Pop and chips and stuff like that. And just so you know, people, you as long as you're not like, if you go down for the day and come back, as long as you're not bringing like alcohol or tobacco, jewelry, perfumes, all that stuff of value,
bodies, Mexicans,
giant electronic items or anything of large value.
Yep.
If you go down and you're just buying like pop, chips, crackers, cereal, like just the non-perishable items and stuff like that, you can bring that stuff back. It doesn't count against your spending. You have to be 24 hours down there as a Canadian resident. 24 hours down there, you can bring 200. And if you're 48 hours or more, you can bring 800 back.
Okay.
But that's of the items of value. So I can go spend $800 on booze and unlimited amount of snacks. Right?
So what I'm hearing is we need to rent a U-Haul, go down to Walmart, fill it full of chips and pop and bunch of American goodies.
So then the question becomes of how much pile of snacks can you make before that pile becomes an item of
Of
value?
value.
An
I
over
think that's when they
so
start looking at bulk
yeah, because then they're going to assume you're distributing.
distributing, which
So,
is
but if you come back with
illegal.
a two or three bags of groceries,
Hmm.
as long you can't bring back dairy, you can't bring back produce or meats, or fruits and vegetables. You can't bring that stuff back.
Because I brought back what I think I brought back cinnamon spread.
Yeah. Okay.
That was it.
Uh,
I don't think I brought anything else
I
back.
can't remember. We're gonna
It was so long ago.
we'll have to go again.
Yep.
Okay.
Vacation in April.
So we go down to get back to the story. We're gonna go down. We're doing the pizza and the shopping, and
And the Joe.
and we're like, and yeah, part of the shopping is we're gonna go stop by and we're gonna see Joe at Paranormal Oddities and check that out. And then I was like, you know what? I happened to see something go by my Facebook feed that said something about Rolling Hills. And I was like, oh, Rolling Hills. And I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was like an old episode of something on TV or something that somebody was posting in one of the groups or
Ghost
something.
Adventures.
Could be anything. Project Fear, whatever. There's been a bunch of shows there. And I was like, oh, Rolling Hills. I wonder how close that is to Buffalo. And I looked and I was like, oh, it's like 45 minutes from Joe's shop.
It's pretty close.
It's in between Rochester and Buffalo. It's
Yeah.
really close. I'm like, okay. I wonder if they're doing anything right now or if it's off season and they're not doing anything. So I went on their website. Sure enough, Saturday night, they're doing a 4-hour ghost hunt, self guided ghost hunt. And I was like, oh, self guided. That sounds like that's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just like, here's an orientation for 5 minutes. Go have fun. Here's all the rules. Go have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
And Rolling Hills is like one of the most notoriously haunted locations in America. Okay, so Rolling Hills. We decide we're going to go. We make the payment. We get all the rules. We read all that stuff over. No problem. We're going to go. Now, Rolling Hills is an old. Now, make sure you hear me correctly. Okay. It's an old poor farm. Poor. Poor. Poor farm. So the place was built in like 1820s. I think 1827-ish. The place was built. Basically what they did,
Thought it's poor house.
poor house,
Yeah.
poor farm. I'll explain.
An institution where paupers were maintained with public funds to include orphans, widows, the handicapped, and minor criminals.
Yeah. So they sent everybody there. So basically the towns that surrounded in specific areas, they didn't want any of the poor people. They didn't want the disabled. They didn't want the criminals. They didn't want the hookers. They didn't even want people that didn't have jobs. If you didn't have a job, you're a bum. You're going to this place. They sent everybody there.
It's a place for social outcasts.
Yeah, so they sent everybody that wasn't contributing to society the way they wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
Put them all over there. And then the reason why I say poor farm is because they had their own system. They didn't go into town to get groceries. They farmed their own food and
Oh,
did all their own farming on site.
okay.
So they were a contained unit. So that's 1820s. I think like that's a long time.
That is a long time. That's
To
yeah.
give you a grand scale of amount of people that were there, 1,700 people died there. Yeah, that's a
Holy
lot.
shit.
That's a lot of people.
Jesus.
So now, as you're going
Yeah.
through the history of Rolling Hills Asylum, eventually, eventually it's not a poor farm, and then it gets bought. Somebody else owns it for like 10 years, and then as like an asylum, a hospital or something.
Okay.
And then it gets closed down after like 10 years. It gets shut down. Then another owner comes in with the idea of like renovating the place, and he just doesn't have the money to do it. But he ends up living out of there for a little while, and then
Mhm.
dies there. There's if you go to Rolling Hills, you'll get the full scope stories. I don't want to give away all of their information.
Yeah.
It's a
Yep.
part of their experience.
Yep.
So you go. There's all these, and they have different spirits of notoriety in the building, in different locations of the building.
Okay.
So there's different rooms you go to and to visit different spirits, but you can encounter anything anywhere in the building.
Okay.
But they have a say like, oh, they have this guy's room. His name is Ray, and he this is his room, and this is where certain spirits come. Blah blah blah. Okay, cool. So you get all that information. There's been a number of go like we were saying, Ghost Adventures, Project Fear when it was Destination Fear. They were there. Ghost Hunters, Taps. They
Mm-hmm.
were the original people to investigate there. The very first investigators were Taps. They did a show. There's been umpteen number of shows and different stuff that have gone to Rolling Hills.
Right.
Some fun episodes to watch on TV. And actually, in the building, they have a wall of celebrities that have left like 8x10s with autographs and stuff, and
Nice.
you can see them and stuff. It's
Yeah, yeah.
pretty cool. So, me having my history of just overly obsessing over everything to do with the unknown, Rolling Hills is high on my bucket list. Like
Of course.
it's high.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, with
So
all the history and everything out, and like, and everyone that's been there, it's that whole like not FOMO, but like somebody else been there that has um high social respect. You want to go see why they were so adamant about going there.
sure, absolutely.
Share the experience.
So as I was saying in the live video before, we drive to Rolling Hills, and as we're kind of coming over a hill, and Rolling Hills starts coming up in the horizon, like it's the best way I could describe it. Like the building, literally, as you're cresting over, starts rising in the horizon. It's like right out of a movie,
That's so
and
cool.
I'm just getting like giddy. And I'm pretty sure that if I came from any other direction, it wouldn't have done that. But because
So
I
you
was
came from the right direction.
because I was coming from the north and coming south on that road, the literally the building came in over the
That's
horizon. It was
cool,
so
man.
cool. And it was during dusk, so there was still a bit of light
Okay.
just before it got dark, and it was perfect for pictures. So, highly suggestible if anybody is just going down to New York State and they want to just drive by and see Rolling Hills. It is a private property. Do not trespass on this site.
I imagine that this site has a boatload of security with what you were telling
So
me.
I will give you a word of warning. There is a bunch of cameras,
Okay.
and the owner lives on site. They have a home on site. I don't know what that home looks like or where it is on site,
But they
but
do
it's
live on
there.
site. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
there. So that's somebody's private home,
Mm-hmm.
and it's their private property, and they open up the asylum safely to do events, and they go through a lot of legal to have this done, and they've gone through a lot of work and money to make this possible. Do not trespass on their site. And I did not trespass before my allotted time that
Mm-hmm.
I was allowed to go on site. I pulled up to the intersection. I got out of the car across the intersection on the shoulder in order to take a picture from outside.
Right.
That's what I did so that I didn't trespass. Then I got in my car and I got in the line on the street and waited for the time that we were allowed to park on site and go through the motions of the event that we were going through. So that's very it, I have to make the rules very clear. Not all the rules, but like that because there when you go to an event there is a list of rules. They're there in place for a reason. It's not for people to be a jerk or anything like that, not for people to be difficult.
Safety.
It's safety. Like something small is like you can't bring food or water on
Mm-hmm.
site. You can't bring like not even like gum or candies or anything. And everybody's like, "Oh, what's the big deal? You can't have water? Like you can't tell me I can't have water." Actually, it's private property. You'll survive for a couple hours without water. And because things like food and water attract insects and critters.
Yep.
And when somebody spends thousands of dollars to make sure those things aren't on site so that you can go safely and sanitarily through the building, they don't want anything attracting it.
That's right.
So I get it.
Yep.
100%. So we go through, no problem. We abide by the rules, get through, do the orientation. It is what it is. You're not allowed to record the orientation, so I won't go over what the orientation is to preserve that privacy.
Experience and
You have that
yeah,
experience.
yeah, yeah.
You get to watch a video. I'll tell you that. You get to
Okay.
watch a video during orientation. Cool. Gives you a bit of a history. Then they let you go. We get to go through. We get a kind of like a verbal outlay of the land, so to say, tell where everything was, and we got to go through. So,
Did you bring anything with you?
oh yeah, I brought a case.
Yeah.
I brought a case of equipment.
Case of goodies?
Yeah, and we didn't use as much as I thought we would, to be
No. What'd you
honest.
use?
We ended up using the voice recorder,
Okay.
an H1N1 or no,
H1N1.
no H1N Zoom mic.
Isn't that the swine flu?
No, we didn't bring the swine flu with us. We brought a microphone, the H1N Zoom mic. We brought that. It's a dual stereo microphone that we use for recording. We've used it before to record
Yeah.
on site, also for EVP. I have not gone over the audio as of the release of this yet, but I do intend on going over it. I'm not sure how much of the evidence I will share because I don't want to
Ruin stuff.
uh not that. It's they like Rolling Hills wants you to share their evidence, but they also don't want you to try to build any kind of episodic or structured thing on a social media.
Fair enough.
It's their location to do their stuff. So
Yep.
if I do find an audio, I will probably reach out to Rolling Hills and discuss with them, give them a copy of the audio, and then ask if it's okay for us to share with our audience.
For sure.
That type of idea. Otherwise, if you know me personally and you want to hear it, no problem. I'll share it with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you don't
So-
mind you don't mind sharing that kind of stuff.
So, only drawback I had that's kind of a drawback on the event was there was 50 people there. Like 50 people paid. It was a sold out
Okay.
event. I mean, the venue is very, very big. It's
Okay.
3 floors and it's big.
Yeah.
But also 50 people means you're not really getting alone time in any section of that building for any longer than like a minute or two. If you happen to walk into a room and you're alone, you're probably only going to be alone for a couple minutes before somebody else comes along, just wandering through or stopping by or whatever. So that makes it a little difficult to do EVP sessions.
Yeah.
Um, but we did try to do them, and there were other people that brought equipment. Some people brought REM pods. Some people brought, they brought spirit boxes. Some people were doing Estes sessions, and there was people that were
Yeah.
very serious about it,
Good.
going into different rooms. I saw one group kind of go into a room. You can't really hog a section for yourself for a long period of time. But if you go into a room and kind of close the door, maybe you're there for like 5 minutes, do your thing, and then try to collect some evidence and then move on so that other people can see the room too. That's cool. So we didn't really close ourselves off anywhere, but we went to a couple of the rooms and we did some EVP sessions. A lot of photography. We took a lot of pictures. Dom actually took way more pictures than I did because she's better at it than me at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm the one who went to school for it, but whatever. Cool.
Yeah.
Some people have an eye for it, man.
Yeah. Some people just have that natural
She's got
ability
some
for photography.
wicked pictures.
Yeah. Nice.
And then, so one of the hallways we went to is called the Hallway of Shadows. Hallway of Shadows. You try to keep all your lights out, and because you will see shadows moving from room to room, crossing the hall,
Okay.
back and forth, left to right, crossing a hall, and you're just kind of watching to hear that happen. So we get to the Hallway of Shadows. There's nobody down that hallway at this time because we've gone through other sections. We kind of tried to strategize. Where do you think everybody's going? Let's go to where everybody's not going. Because everybody's probably going to the famous or the most popular spots or most popular spirits or whatever, right? Let's go to the less popular because to me, that's more likely where something will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just one or two people and you might have an experience. So when we get to the Hallway of Shadows, there's nobody in the hallway, which is I'm happy about that. There's nobody in the hallway. We're standing at the entrance to the hallway. I take one step and stop. And it sounds like somebody is doing like the duty walk towards you. Like I mean like the walk on a mission. Thump, thump, thump,
Oh,
thump,
really?
thump, thump. Like they're walking towards me. Almost as if I could hear them, they'd be like, "What are you doing out in the hallway?" Like, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And I hear it walking right towards me. And for me, my reaction, I took a step back. And that's abnormal for me. Usually I'm step forward
Mm-hmm.
to see, okay, what is that? But that's the cadence and that step was so defined. I actually took a step back for a second. I was like, whoa, what the heck?
Wow.
But then you know what happened? I turned around and looked behind me. There was a group of people walking up behind us. So now I don't know whether the audio of their footsteps was
Yeah.
bouncing down the hallway and coming back. It definitely was off putting for a second. So now I'm on the fence. I'm not sure. It could have been something, it could have been a spirit footstep, or it could have just been an audio trick of audio through the hallway. I don't know. But that's the first experience. Okay. All right. That's the first experience.
Kind of like toes in the water.
Yeah. So we're in another area and we're coming out of a room and I noticed there's nobody around. And I said to Dom, I said, let's turn our flashlights off. Well, we were just using hers actually. We just one flashlight for the two of us
Mm-hmm.
because it's less light. I like less light.
Mm-hmm.
We want as little light as possible. Gives it more of a creepy vibe and maybe you get the feel or experience more. I'm not sure. So we decided we're going lights out. And as soon as we went lights out, we were standing there. I thought I heard something like it was almost like a huff or a gust in my ear, like a like, but I wasn't sure.
Okay.
So, but I don't know whether it's a car on the road driving by and it just sounds weird. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was unsure about it again. So I was like, okay, she didn't hear that. I did. We'll let it go. We won't worry about it. We'll just mental note it, whatever.
Yep.
So then we're going down a hallway. One of the hallways that I wanted to go down to had a wheelchair in it. I've seen it in a bunch of TV episodes. And it had a specific room I wanted to check out. I tried some testing on. I tried closing one of the bedroom doors to see if it would open back up because I had seen it open up in somebody else's video.
Okay.
So I videoed that whole thing, trying to get a reaction out of a door being closed. Nothing ever happened. We were told to go down to the end of the hall. There's a room in a solarium, kind of like a sun porch, and the room is flooded with blue light. We were told this was Big Jack's room. Big Jack likes his privacy. So his doors are closed, but on the left door and the right door, like the two doors that close, it's double door. Each door has a window, what would you say, like a foot by a foot
Okay.
square
Little
window
square windows.
on
Okay.
each one. And then where the door handle used to be, there's nothing there, so the little bit of blue light comes out of the hole where the door handle was.
Okay.
So the doors are closed. You can see the blue floodlight coming through. So you can definitely see the hallway. It's a dark hallway. You're walking towards blue squares of light. Until you get close enough, you can see it's double doors. I knock, open the doors, and one of the things they said to do was to kind of role play. It might
Entice.
entice is the right word. It might entice some reactions or activity. So when I roll in and open the double doors, I went, "Hey, sorry, I think I got lost. I was just coming to look for some directions. I need to know where the staircase is to get down to the basement. Do you think you can give me directions for that?" And then I walked in the room and I looked around the room. It's very empty. There's like a couple metal lawns, like back deck style tables,
Okay.
like metal tables that you would use outside, and like metal chairs, and then um, like like somebody laid out cards as if they're playing a card game on the table, just sitting there, and like a couple other little items on the table. But that's it. There's no other real furniture in this room. There's no mannequins or like clothes or anything else in this room. There's nothing.
Okay.
And I went, okay, sorry to bother you. Um, I'll leave you be. And then as I left, I turned around and I said, oh, sorry, I'll close your doors. I didn't mean to leave them open. And I closed the doors. Dom and I walked down the hallway. We turn around, start walking down the hallway. We get about halfway down the hallway, and there was another lady coming out of a side bedroom, and I stopped to talk to her, and I turned around to look at Big Jack's room.
Yeah.
And the only way I can describe it is I saw Big Jack come to the window. From inside the room, I saw the silhouette of his shoulders and his head come up and block the light on the left side of the door. I could see it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I grabbed Dom, and I was like, "Do you see that?" And she's like, yeah." And I said to the lady beside us, I said, "Do you see that? There's somebody blocking the light down. Do you see it?" She goes, "I do see that." And I was like, oh my god, it's Jack. I can't. I was getting really excited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
Instead
start fangirling.
instead of getting afraid, I got excited.
Yeah, yeah.
And he stands there, and then he walks across, and you see him pass the other window, and then gone into the room. And I was like,
That's
"Whoa, are you kidding me? I
insane.
couldn't believe that I saw this." Now,
Oh,
this is where I like having somebody because I was on an excited level. My thinking might not have been at a level playing field,
okay.
and Dom was. She said, "Well, I saw what you saw, but I'm not sure it's what you think it is.
Okay.
Have you ever stood in the dark and stared at a very faint light for long enough and it looks like there's something that blocks the light or tricks of light happen in the dark sometimes?"
Mm,
She thinks that's might be what happened when you're standing perfectly still and it looks like the light just kind of diminishes and goes to nothing.
I know what you're talking
And
about.
then as
Yep.
soon as you move your head left to right or whatever, like moving it back and forth, the light comes back. So she thinks it might have been an optical illusion with the
For all
combination
three people?
for yes, for all three people, the combination of being an extremely pitch black hallway with a square blue light. We're used to like we're under now, like a white light or yellow light, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
but it's a blue light, so our eyes aren't accustomed to that. It's a different light spectrum for us. So the eyes might not have adjusted properly and maybe it looked like something was blocked out. I'm on the when she said that, I was like, you could be right. For a second, I was like, you know what? You could be right.
Could be. Yep.
You could be right. But for me as well, I'm gonna hold on to the experience that I did for a moment see an actual silhouette of shoulders and a head.
That
And I don't think that is a trick of the eye. If the whole square just disappeared, maybe. But I know I saw a silhouette on the first window for sure.
yeah, there's definitely a difference between
Silhouette and the
a
light going away.
silhouette and a light fading out. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's easier to because I'm sure you've seen like the shape of the head and then when it goes and draws into the nape of the neck and then comes back out to draw the shoulder, the roundness of the shoulder. That's kind of hard to for the mind to make that up.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like
I mean, I can see both sides. I'm glad she kind of grounded me with some like fact
I
thought.
love that she did that.
Like she brought me back down to where I normally am.
Hmm.
And I was like, it was funny because afterwards she was like, your reactions in that place were not what I was expecting. I'm like, what do you mean? She was, you got really excited for everything. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like I kept apologizing. She's like, you don't have to be sorry. It was kind of cool that you were getting excited for this. It's because of where it was. It was
Hmm.
rolling hills. It was high on my list, and stuff was not a lot of crazy stuff was happening, but stuff happened to me, and we still haven't gone over the audio yet. There could be audio. We took a lot of audio, and in small burst sessions of it too. So
It'll be easier to go through that way.
yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch to go through. So it's really cool. I must say, we did like 3 hours walking through that place. Really cool. We took a very little bit about a video.
Dude, you get to say that you went to Rolling Hills now.
Um, at the end, you go into a room where they have like their kind of like their sign out room
Okay.
and their merch and stuff. I did get to talk to the owner Sharon, and I will say, despite all kinds of mixed reviews online, Sharon is a delightful lady. She is fantastic to talk to. I completely understand everything of where she's coming from on her rules, and have no idea why people would even be
She's
butthurt about
protecting
rules.
her investment.
That's a good way of putting it. She's a really, really awesome lady. She has her rules set in place for a variety of reasons. You can go, you can do an event anytime you want. We can go and do a private investigation at a cost. Anybody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Weekday, weekend, prices vary. You can reach out to her. She will help you with that. I'm not saying you can't go there and make a YouTube video. You can. You just got to discuss it with her first and work out the details and the cost.
Get forms signed and whatnot, release
And
forms.
she probably charges a different rate if you're going to come make an episode there than she would if you just walking around like a tourist to her attraction. And that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't we can't set up a group and go down and do a private investigation. That's we can't do that. We can't sell tickets. It's not our venue to sell tickets to.
No. This is somebody's
We can
personal property.
We can call like 10 of our friends and be like, "Hey, you want to go? Let's go." And arrange 10 of our friends to go down.
Yeah.
Personally, we could do that. No problem. Anybody can do that.
Or what we could do is
I want the place for myself. I know the pricing. I don't want to go over pricing on our show. I think it's only fair that if people want to know pricing, that they should reach out to Rolling Hills and get the pricing.
if we got 10 people, sold them tickets, and told her that they were just friends, but we ended up selling them tickets to come with us, just saying. What?
And then she didn't listen to the episode?
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, let's face it. Probably the 10 people from listening to an episode are actually our friends, anyways.
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah.
I would like to go down. Honestly, I would like to set aside an overnight to go down a one night during the week. I'll just book a couple days off. Go down with a small team. I'm thinking of like 6 people.
Okay.
And we just split the costs 6 ways between us, the total cost. And we go down, and then we have 6 people. We can do all 6 in one section, or you can break off in teams of 3.
Teams of 2?
Right? Or teams of 2. And it's more controlled for the environments. And I think it would be a really good idea.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
So maybe that is something we will arrange. And if you know us personally, you can reach out to us or discuss with us when you see us. And maybe we can form that team to go down.
Hell yes.
So that is my Rolling Hills experience. In much fashion, I did buy and support.
I noticed the sweater. I noticed the swag.
I bought a hoodie. I also bought a baseball hat.
Nice.
She has a lot of merch, a lot of cool stuff there.
Good.
Go down, support her, check out Rolling Hills, man. It's so easy. If you have a passport and you're in Ontario, you don't have an excuse. It's like if you're in Durham or GTA, it's 2 hours away. Like that's nothing.
That's like driving from.
You know what the worst part of a drive to the States was?
Mm.
We were an hour and a half waiting at the border.
Seriously?
Hour and a half.
So did you cross at the same spot that we did?
Same spot no. I went to a different spot.
Oh,
different bridge. But it was I had never waited that long at that bridge before. Not that it's unheard of, it has happened before,
Of
but
course.
hour and a half was insane.
That's a long friggin' wait, man. I'd get antsy. I'd be sitting there getting antsy like,
It seemed like everybody around us was moving faster than us. It was one of those
We
situations
chose the line that was moving the slowest.
Where you always choose the line that's slowest. It was that situation.
Of
and
course.
I swear to God, it was the truth. We
Nice.
literally were the slowest
Yeah.
line. And then I got up there and I found out why. The crossing guard, the border guard, he spoke really low. He had a very serious face. He looked like a grumpy old man. So he said to me, "Where are you going?" But he said it so low and grumbly. I thought he said, "How are you doing?"
Where are you going?
So he's like, "Where are you going?" And I was like,
Good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? And then he wasn't looking at me, and then he just turned his head and he looked at me and he stared for like a good 5 seconds. He just stared at me and then he goes, "Where are you going?" I went, "Oh, sorry." And then I told him where we were going, and he's like, "All right." And then he just like, go ahead, go ahead. He didn't even ask us like how long we're staying, all these other questions I usually get. He's just like, okay, we're going to a paranormal event at Rolling Hills. All right, go ahead. He just let us through. I'm like, oh, okay.
Two more of these friggin'
I'm like,
weirdos.
well, if he talks that way to everybody, all low and grumbly, I can see why it's taking forever.
Yeah. Everyone else's line is moving
Maybe
super
you
quick.
know what? Maybe he was having a bad day. Who knows what kind of day he was having? I
Yeah.
told him when I left. I said, "Thank you. Have a good day and be safe." I always tell guys like that.
Hmm.
Any guys that are in a place of high risk, they gotta carry a firearm. They're doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
Tell them to be safe. They got families to go home to. Be safe.
They're not carrying the gun just because they want to tickle someone with
Right.
a bullet.
I don't want to have to come I don't want to have to come and ghost investigate the border.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Actually, I do. That sounds pretty cool.
You know what? You're probably not far off. I mean, I'm sure there's locations near a border of like way back in the day, let's just say like cowboys and Indians, whatever, or something like that, or someone trying to cross a border at a certain location. It's a known hotspot for people getting shot. Like, Mexico.
Yeah. At the Canada-U.S. border, they're
Yeah,
just like Mexico.
Mexico. Right between.
Well, that's Rolling Hills. That's my adventure. And now we can talk about dreams next week.
Next week.
Till then, stay spooky.
Stay weird.